There's a framework to success, and we got a series running it. Of course, we have the Pure Sound method. What is your method for being successful? Do you have a method? Do you have belief in a method? Do you have knowledge of a method? Are you creating the life you want to live with that method? Peace. Travis Soderwell. It's Pure Sound Daily Business. I'm going to be talking about the success framework. Have a series we doing. Week I'm recording this. We're in the second session of our boot camp. First time we running it. So really, it's what I've been and will continue to do is unpack the success framework. The success framework falls under the business principles. That, as we say, business principles are success principles. Principles of achievement. These can be applied to your life. You know, I gotta be honest. I was listening to someone today, and it really disgusted me. It disgusted me to hear someone's ego. And not even in the way of when people are speaking and they're unaware of themselves and you're just like, man, you got a lot of ego. What disgusted me is that they were actually aware of their missing structure. They were aware of the lack of action they were taking in life. And it wasn't in the past tense. Now, this is where we talk about self-talk. But first, what we're unpacking here, what I'm giving you, whether we're working one-on-one, what I aim to give you in the time we have here in the podcast is framework and awareness. So the knowledge of a framework, it's on you whether you believe in it or not and work it. And awareness and deeper awareness of yourself. Now, I believe this is all knowledge of self. The more you know yourself, the more you do better. To know is to do better. To truly know something is to put it into action. And to listen to an individual speak about how they know. They know where they off. And it wasn't spoken in a way such as, all right, I'm telling it. This is one of the things there's a lot of little Christian things I love that applies to just life. I mean, that's why it sustains, right? There's truth in all spiritual practices and institutions, etc. But telling on the devil. Now, in my spiritual school of thought, the devil is not outside of ourselves. You know, Satan, devil, all these are within yourself. We call these the lower self. So I love that saying of telling on the devil. You know, tell on Satan. Because really, I'm just telling on myself. I'm telling on these weak parts of me that I'm working to overcome. And it didn't sound like he was telling on the devil to overcome. It just sounded like he was just talking about the devil. Talking out the devil so it could just stay the same. And that's what shook me. Because I like to hang around people that are doing things. I'm an achiever myself. So I know when I tell on myself, I'm putting it in that mind frame of how am I overcoming this part of myself. This is, I'm missing something here. This is a weakness. I don't like this. I'm frustrated with this. How am I going to overcome it? One thing that has been an adjustment is adjusting the schedule and getting the work done with the podcast. And every time I've added a new element to the business to level the business up, to level my part, what I bring to the table for the business, things get shaky. Things get out of whack. So I have a plan to do, which when I first implemented the plan, ooh boy, was it working. Do recordings on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. In the last couple weeks, it was like I was doing it day by day. So far, Sunday night, we're on schedule. It is the last thing I'm doing, though. That's the other piece. But these are all habits that I've learned about myself of how I operate. In this business I've chosen to, it isn't punching a clock every day. It isn't going to a place and punching a clock. It's a self-directed, self-motivated business. And that's something to know. And when it all comes back, when it all comes down to it, it comes back to self. Whether you're designing your lifestyle to have joy and happiness, or you're leveling up from there. Leveling up to a leader, have an influence. It's in your own circle. Leveling up to helping nurture an ecosystem around you, aka a culture. And or leveling up to level up your career, your finances, building a business, or just building a skill. Again, you can have a career. You can be an employee. We're not against that here. The key word here is skill. The skill you're developing. Which, to bring it back down to your interest. Most of us have had interests that we've had when we were young that we developed into a skill. I know one interest I had was alcohol, and I developed a pretty good skill of getting drunk. Title called alcoholism. It was all the other things that came with that I didn't like. So to work on bringing it back together. And a success framework. Working with people that have been there before. As I've been going through my history and the alcoholism, now I'm over 15 years sober, still day by day. We work this thing. And they call it a sponsor. A sponsor is just a coach. A sponsor is someone who has gone through the process of getting sober. If you want a happy life, you should rock with someone that has gone through, or is at least a couple steps ahead of you going through the process of habitual joy and happiness. I'm one. I'm not the only one on the planet. Now, I'm definitely going through. It's the first steps and the last steps in a lot of ways. Because it's the first steps of finance in that area of my life. But it's the last step as far as I have all the other pieces filled in. But then all those pieces had to get adjusted because finances, being an entrepreneur, that's a pretty big life change. So wherever you at, what framework are you working? Who are you working with to walk you through it? And are you doing it? That's really the point of the story. Is this individual that was talking about, he doesn't do things. Let me put it that way. He's not achieving things. He's not adding on to his skill set. From what I heard, well, I was going to add a little bit. I'll just stop there before I start getting in my ego, right? That's how these things bug me. I don't like being around low achievers. So, he has a framework that he's not working. He has a system that he's not working, which means he doesn't believe in it. He's not taking the initial steps. We all got to take the initial steps of belief. Then we get a knowledge because we see it works. We get little pieces here and there. And then as that works, we become that. We take on new life, new actions. We become new person. I'm not who I was 7 days ago because I'm always putting in that work. It ain't just about reading books. It's about taking action. It ain't just about making a podcast. It's about making adjustments with my family. It's about continuing to enjoy life, continue to find my happiness. And this was the biggest missing piece for me. The finances, the chasing, the going after my vision for my life that I want to live. Huge piece, huge missing piece. Now I got to make sure that I don't just get comfortable in, as Coach Michael Burt says, randomness in motion. Just taking action and feeling good about taking action. Just random actions. I'm moving. I'm doing things. Am I seeing the results? Am I moving closer to the goal? Because if you're just doing things, you're just being random, that leads to burnout. So what framework are you working? You here listening to me? The success framework. Starting off with lifestyle design. Your character, are you who you say you are? And your self-talk. Two of the first things we really hammer away at. Are you using talk that supports where you want to be? The words coming out your mouth and the sounds going in your ear. You listening to Pure Sound Daily Business. You listening to other positive people that support your upliftment to another level. Work a framework. Believe in yourself, because that's ultimately what we're talking about. We're talking about belief. It's Travis Soda Well. It's Pure Sound Daily Business. Peace.